It happens to me every year, and I'm sure that it happens to you too. January hits and I kind of feel sluggish, feel like there's nothing to look forward to in life, and time just goes by so slowly. I wanted to look into psychologically, why does it feel like January is just so freaking long? And how can we beat this blues, this January blues that we have, where we feel like nothing is just happening and time is just standing still? I have looked through a few researches talking about why January feels like is the longest month and what is the actual scientific reason behind it. One of the researches and one of the papers that I have found, it says that one of them is the sunlight. On this part of the planet, during January, we don't really get much of the sunlight. And if you know anything about human biology, you know that the sunlight has a huge effect on how you feel and how you go by your whole day and how it affects your circadian rhythm. The other thing can be stimulants. So for example, coffee or tea, for example, black tea or any kind of drink that has caffeine in them. Those stimulants also are going to have an impact on your circadian rhythm, and you're just going to feel like time goes by just differently for you. But other than these biological aspects, me being a psychologist, the biggest reason that really made me excited about trying to find out what is really behind feeling exhausted and kind of bored and sluggish during January is the fact that in January we feel this type of way, we feel this January blues, because we really have, on average, nothing to look forward to. If you think about it, in December, with all the holidays, all the different kinds of holidays coming up, there is this time period of waiting, of looking forward to something happening, looking forward to Christmas, for example, in my culture, and then New Year's Eve. Those days from the 1st of December, getting to the 24th, the 25th, and then the 31st of December for New Year's. Every week something happens. It's a jam-packed time. We're trying to fit everything into our schedule, from baking cookies to buying presents, to making more time and more effort with our family, with our friends, going on different kinds of trips and vacations. We are in preparation mode, and so many things are happening in real life, or if you are in YouTube world as well. For example, Vlogmas, where this phenomena that I try to do every single year on my YouTube, but it's just so hard, that you basically put out a vlog, a video every single day from the 1st of December leading up to Christmas, till the 24th or the 25th. That also gives you more of like a sense of purpose, something to do every day, something to look forward to every day. And that is what most of the papers and most of the researches that I have read say that brings the biggest difference in perceiving time completely differently in January and feeling like nothing really is happening. So because of this, and because I felt this way in the past few years, and I kind of became more conscious about the fact that whenever January comes, and it's been a few years now that I'm going back to work right on the 2nd of January, or maybe I take the first week off, but on the 2nd week of January, and it feels different. It hits different. Even with school, this year I'm doing both at the same time. So that kind of gives me a little bit of a purpose and something to look forward to, because I have exams coming up in January. But in the past few years, I just felt this more and more and more coming out of university and just going back to work. So because of this realization, and because I really wanted to help anybody else who feels this way, and also myself, to try to figure out how to not feel this way. What can we do? What can we do to not have this January blues? How can we feel more motivated? How can we feel more happier every day? How to not feel like there's just nothing going on, and mentally and physically we feel just drained after all these holidays and all these happenings in December. So I have compiled 5 things to do to beat this January blues. I'm going to try this as well myself, so let's see what can help us. First things first, everyone likes to set goals in January. When New Year comes, everyone comes in with their resolutions and they have all this list and everything written down how and what they want to achieve in this new year. I am not a big believer of having New Year's resolutions. I'm more of a person who likes to set intentions for the new year. But if you are someone who likes to have goals set for themselves right at the top of the year, here are a few things that you should consider. So first things first is to set goals for yourself which are more realistic. You don't have to achieve everything in the month of January, and you're quite frankly going to feel really discouraged at the end of January if you set a huge goal and you're not going to achieve it. I don't know if you guys know about this concept of making SMART goals. It's a concept and the way of setting goals that I have learned in university when we were talking about sports psychology, and I really love that. So try to go a little bit more into that, do your own research, try setting your goals in like smaller batches. Oh, and also don't forget to celebrate your small victories, because that's also really important. Keep your energy levels up high and have that sense of achievement. The second way to beat this January blues has to do with some of the physical aspects of what we have talked about. One of them is sunlight and the other one is exercise. Again, I know that in January, most of the people like to set a huge goal that they're going to go to the gym. You do you, whatever you want to do. But what I want to highlight here is, first of all, the sunlight aspect. If you have a type of job, if you have a type of lifestyle, well, if you can go out actually during the day or whenever you have sunlight, even just for 5 minutes, that is going to be greatly beneficial for you physically and then mentally as well. And as for exercise, if you can combine the two, if you can go out into the nature and be outside and do your exercise of your choice while it is sunny outside, that would be the best thing ever. If you cannot achieve that, if you have to be in an office or have that type of lifestyle, then you can always opt for just going to the gym or do some kind of exercise at home and do like a home gym situation. Moving your body in whichever way is always going to be beneficial for you. The third way to beat the January blues is to plan some activities for yourself which are actually enjoyable. So it doesn't only have to be for yourself, obviously. If an activity is enjoyable for you, not by yourself, but with, for example, with your family or some certain friends, then absolutely do that. Try to find activities which actually bring you joy, which put you in a little bit of a relaxation. Do something that really lifts your spirits up. If it's something combining the previous ones, for example, going out into nature and take a hike for yourself, that is great. If you want to do a family night, for example, play lots of board games, or if you want to hang out with the friends and play some video games, then do that. Just try to plan ahead, because as we started this video, as I stated, in January, on average, we don't have anything to look forward to. So you have to be that person to create events which you can actually look forward to. If you have to set it in 3 weeks' time, then set it in 3 weeks' time. For example, for me, I've been wanting to go to see a play for the longest time. When I was a kid, I was doing theater, and we were brought to see tons of plays, and I just really miss it. So I really want to make time and an effort to go and see a play in January. And I also really want to go back to the movies, because I don't remember the last time I was at the movies. It was probably Oppenheimer, I think I watched in 2023. So this is the biggest point which I really want to emphasize. Number 3, to make plans for yourself which you can look forward to. It's gonna help you greatly psychologically, mentally, because we don't have anything big happening by the calendar in January. All right, way number 4 to how to beat the January blues is to practice a little bit of a self-care. If you've been following my channel, you know that I am huge on self-care. It definitely comes and goes in waves on how I'm trying to practice self-care. As I am also changing and evolving and growing, I have different kinds of ways of practicing self-care, but I feel like it's really, really personal, however you want to make it for yourself. For me personally, self-care means not concentrating anything on the outside world, but just concentrating on myself, and no, not in an egoistic way, in a self-love kind of way. So for me, for example, taking care of myself is taking a hot bath, or having fun with some new makeup, or reading a book. And the obvious one is doing some skincare or like body care. This can be something that you do at home, or if you want to schedule an appointment for yourself, if you want to get your hair done, if you want to get a massage, for example, schedule an appointment for that for January. This is 2 things in one: making a schedule, making an activity which is enjoyable for you, and also doing some self-care. Number 5 is something that we kind of touched on before, but it's connecting with others. Because there are not a lot of things in January happening, this can feel a little bit isolating. We are usually around people most of the time in December with all these events happening and all these holiday parties and Christmas parties and Christmas markets and all the kind of things. And then in January, it can really feel isolating. So if you feel a little bit alone and kind of disconnected from the world, and you want to rejoin and connect again, try hitting up your friends. If there is a new kind of hobby that, for example, the hobby which you can do in a group, and maybe it's a workshop, then try going to that kind of workshop so you can have that sense of community. When you're making all these scheduled events and meetups, try to make them in person. Actually, I know that with technology is great, I love it, but it's different. I'm sure that you know that it's different if you're just texting someone, if you're FaceTiming someone, or if you're actually sitting in front of someone in a cafe. Try to make the effort, even if it feels hard, to connect with someone or a group, or with your family, or with a bunch of friends, with your partner in person, because that is going to be a key in feeling a little bit better, not so isolated, and a little bit motivated in the month of January. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and like this video if you really did enjoy. If you also feel like the January blues are hitting you, or have been feeling this kind of way in the past few years, please let me know in the comments down below. And thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.